All right. Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Hopefully, you've had a wonderful weekend. My name is Yar. I'm joined by my partner, Guy. We're here with Elify, and we are talking sprint planning. Now, if you've been around with us for a while, you're familiar with how sprint planning works, but maybe you've just joined the Elify affiliate program and you're new to sprint planning, guys. If you've participated in any of our training or you're just now getting plugged in, you'll realize that a lot of what we focus on is a repeatable process, creating a system and taking action on the action items that are part of that system or process that are going to help yield predictable results. And Guy, we do this on a weekly basis. I know we've been doing this since day one as a technology development company where we go through a process called sprint planning. And what we do is we take all of our BHAGs, our big, hairy, audacious goals that we're working on, and we break them down into sizable chunks. We look at those chunks in week-long sprints. Typically, even on the development side, we're looking at objectives and we're identifying that objective, how much time it's going to take, and whether we can allocate enough time during the week to knock those things out. We've heard from Edge Training, Michael and Edwin, about we don't really manage our time, we prioritize it. And I think a good example of that is anytime you've ever been preparing for a trip or traveling and you've got to pack and you've got to get all this other stuff done, more often than not, you get to the point where you're at the airport and everything is done. You got it all done. How did you do it? It's because the priority of those items went all the way up to the top of the stack and you just cranked them out. And that's really what we're talking about. We've talked about a few things on previous calls. Obviously, if you're new to this, some of this information will be new, but we've heard in the Edge training about the Wheel of Life and about how we all want to balance these things. And these aren't just specific to our Elify affiliate business and generating income. That would be part of that financial spoke on the Wheel of Life, but there are all these other areas. And one of the things that I think about when I'm sprint planning are those little items, the priority items that I'm going to place as a daily method of operation. These are the things that I do every single day that contribute to those things. It's like reaching out to people, sending emails, doing those little, working out in the morning or in the afternoon, allocating a little bit of time because I know that daily activity, when I add it up over time, it's going to produce the result. And guys, that's really what we're talking about. You've heard it on the win list item, right? It's 86,400 seconds that we all have. We all share that in common. So there's nothing different between myself, Guy, and you as it relates to time. We're just going to focus on our priority items, and we don't want you to get distracted. And that's really what I'm here to talk about with sprint planning. And Guy, feel free to add in on this, but it's really about allocating time throughout the week, blocking out some time, having a plan for the week, and then sprinting down that plan. And then at the end of the week, Guy, typically we do a retrospective. I know we do Friday with the founders for everybody, but internally we do a retrospective. We say, look, here's all these things we wanted to get done this week. Here's what we got done. Here's where we could have room for improvement. Maybe here are the items that didn't get done. And then when we look at those items, it's like, were they lower priorities? Were they top priorities that we were sort of procrastinating on? What are they? And then they go to the top of the list for the next week, guys. And then the process, the system, that repeats over and over and over again so that we know as long as we're consistent on that, we're going to have 52-week sprints in this whole year. And we're going to get further along from the beginning of the year to the end of the year because we've been doing those sprints. And that's what we're trying to impress upon you guys is when we fill out these sprint planning sheets, and all of this is sitting in your affiliate central, we have the capability to start planning our priorities and executing on those list of items so that we can make forward progress in our business. And Guy, as I pass it over to you to add some thoughts, I know you always say, look, if you take care of the little things, the big things are going to take care of themselves. And I'm a firm believer of that because I see it every day because you and I focus on what are the priorities and what are those recurring little things that we need to be consistent on. And if we're relentlessly consistent on it, we know the results will come.
Right. And to add to that, that's what I was going to bring back into this. And it's a repetition element. I was going to say, take care of the small things, big things take care of themselves. Repetition. You probably see ER and I in the same hat and shirts throughout the year because we're just getting up, we're getting things done, and we're getting into our win list. What's important now? I think about what processes we have to do to be able to provide technology to go through and do what's called skunk work, to be testing, to have it in alpha, to have it in beta, to have it a launch, to make sure that there's no bugs, or if there's bugs, we got to come back in and fix them as fast as possible. But that's based us up on our win list, and we can't attack it all at once. Think about, my background, I'm a country kid, so we did farming and ranching, and thinking about growing, say, a corn crop. You're not going to end up with a corn on the ear with, a 10-foot plant at time 0. You got to work the soil. You got to water it. You got to plant. You got to nurture it throughout this whole process. And at that time, it takes months, just based on how corn grows now. It grows much faster. But the exact same thing happens in our technology. It takes time. It takes planning. But I think it also takes the exact same path from the standpoint of being an affiliate and being active. Repetition is huge. Setting your game plan up for the week, coming in on these sprint plannings and say, at least I have an idea of where I want to be by the end of the week. Because if I don't have an idea, then it's just, everything, all balls are up in the air, and I have no real focus on how to take care of those small things. So take care of your small things. Big things will take care of themselves. It's the communication, like ER was saying. Do your emails, do your phone calls, do your follow-ups. There's a great function within Shuffle that allows you to do follow-ups. I have people all the time saying, well, how do I utilize this system? What can I do? Well, let's look at your system. Yep. You've got 25 overdue follow-ups. Where would I start? I would start with the follow-ups. I would start taking notes. We are going to make a shift. I think there's something internally that we've been talking about from the standpoint of, you hear CRM, customer relationship management, all over. How about we look at, what does Elify and Shuffle really provide? It's more of an RCM. It's a relationship and content manager. The reason why we put the R first is the relationship is the most important. I was talking with people over the weekend who are just in sales and learning about our system. They're like, everyone should be utilizing your system, from the way that we were just having a conversation, because they know the relationship has gotten them everywhere, has gotten them everything that they've ever had from the standpoint of being successful or being relevant in their field. So set your game plan up. We have a game plan set up for this week for you within Elify. We've got training tomorrow with Kathy. There's and hi Kathy, good seeing you on here. And what someone's action items this week? Yes, attend that. She's attending a networking group, and I'm going to introduce Shuffle. But we've got training with Kathy. There is going to be the beta release this week of marketing. So we always tell people to be active and to take advantage of it during the time frame, because there is an increase. If you want it, there is an increase in cost, but you're going to get a lot of value out of it. Yeah. But you're going to get it at a discount as well. So just make sure that you take advantage of that. We've got Edge Global Training Wednesdays. I mean, there's so much that you can get out of those Wednesday evenings, and the 20 to 30 minutes that you can spend with Michael and Edwin. These guys are world-class trainers, coaches, and that right now it's free to you as an affiliate to be able to attend these types of trainings. Don't take advantage of it and not attend it. Take advantage of it and watch it, attend it, watch it in replay, watch it multiple times. Then every Friday, we have the Friday with Founders. It's where, sort of like ER and I are right now having a conversation, you get to come in on a Zoom with us. And the room can be small and intimate, or it can be huge and packed. And ER's calling people out on Fridays, asking them what they like best and what they would like to change within the application. It gives you ability to have a communication one-on-one with us. And then every Saturday morning, we have the Discover call with Michael and Edwin. And it gives you the ability to utilize the team within Elify to make it so you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. You can drive people to these types of trainings, to Discover calls, to learn more about Elify. And if they're interested, just send them there to watch it and get signed up, because it really is how simple, how can I just share links to inform people about a platform that is designed, developed for them, with them in mind, to put them into a system, a process that can be replicatable.
Yeah, Guy, and I think that's the key of everything we talk about on Mondays. It's a process or a system that you're creating that you implement and you repeat, right? Relentlessly consistent, as Edwin would say, over and over again, that will produce you predictable results. And so here is my sort of ask for everybody who's watching this, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this in replay. If you haven't, go out and take an opportunity to print out the Wheel of Life. Then look at each aspect of each one of these spokes on this Wheel of Life and ask yourself, do I have a process or a system in place for each one of these? Because this is truly how you start to balance out your Wheel of Life. Whether it's the financial one and you're using maybe your primary hustle, your primary job, or your ultimate side hustle of Shuffle's affiliate program, each one of those should have a system for you. We will present you the system. We have presented you the system within Elify Shuffle, right? It's participate in these online calls, invite people to discoveries, get your education and your training, and start using and implementing the system that's available to you. If you're not setting those follow-ups, if you're not taking notes, if you're not doing outreach, if you're not using your Shuffle cards, you're missing out on participating in that system that we know will yield predictable results. It's no different than when I look on here, Guy, and I see the physical activity spoke, and I sit there and I go, oh man, I wish I had a six-pack abs, and I wish I had the ability to run miles upon miles or could bike with my grandkids or whatever it is, and yet I'm not doing any steps to make that a reality. If I said, yep, I can do that, I just need to get started. Maybe I need to tie the shoes and put them on one day and go for a walk. Maybe I need to walk every single day until I can jog. Guys, these are the process or the system that you can put in place. I know Guy and I, we try to knock a workout out first thing in the morning so that it's checked off the list as a high priority item. And if we do that consistently every day, we're either going to have and sustain our base, or we're going to continue to improve and lower our weight or increase our athletic ability, guys. No different on any of these things. If it's family, how are you allocating some family time? Are you doing it every night? Maybe it's having dinner with the family, and that's the one consistent thing that you're consistent about. Every single one of these things can have a system or a process in place, and it's up to you. The way you're successful is you identify or learn that system and that process, and then you implement it. It's that simple, everybody. And so what your goal is, if you don't have or if you haven't identified those systems for each of those things, that's the objective for one of your items for this week. Identify that, lay that out, start understanding what the priority items are and what those little things are, and then start checking them off the list. It literally is that simple, but you have to be consistent with it. If I say I want to be physically fit and then I identify the whole system and the whole plan and I don't execute it on it at all, 3 months from now, I'm not going to be any further along than where I am today. But if I say, look, this week I'm going to sprint this much on my physical activity. The next week I'm going to sprint this much. And then next week I'm going to sprint this much. Eventually, 3 months from now, I'm going to be further along than where I started. And that's what the whole goal of progress is, everybody. You can achieve and get to wherever you want to go. I know you can, right? You can do it. But you have to be willing to sit down and put in the work. That means the planning, the preparation, the execution, the knowledge, whatever you need to do to identify that system and start pouring into it. We're going to support you on the Elify system to support you and be successful as an affiliate here, okay? But we want to encourage you that this information, all of the education, this isn't just specific to Elify. That's the whole beauty of all of this. That's what gets Guy, Edwin, Michael so excited, is you can implement this in Elify, and you should, because it can create you a passive residual income that can serve you well. But in addition, all of this knowledge can be implemented in all these other areas of your life. And if you do that, if you adopt that strategy, you're going to be so much better off for it. And I truly believe when you look back after adopting it, you're going to be so much further along in making progress for all of these areas. So Guy, we'll wrap this thing up. Everybody, the week is going to be the next 7 days, guys. What are you going to do with it to help get you to where you're going? You can't do everything at time zero, so you've got to pick and choose. What are your top priority win list items? What's important now? Is it participating in trainings like tomorrow and Wednesday? Is it inviting people to a Saturday discovery call? Is it getting on with us on Fridays and getting your questions answered? Is it taking time to update your cards and start sharing them out, or maybe build cards if you haven't yet? or the most important thing that Guy mentioned on today's call? Is it going through that contact list, reviewing notes, and starting to take action on those follow-ups so that you can build deeper relationships? I truly believe you already know everybody in your network today. And if you didn't read that Bob Bodine book, The Power of Who, you should pick it up, okay? You know everybody you need to know right now to get you exactly where you're going, okay? Your net worth is your network. We want to help you. We want to help you accelerate with that. So with that being said, everybody, happy Monday. Take an opportunity to plan your week out and execute your plan. We'll see everybody on. Thank you, everybody. Take care and have a great day.